You're listening to
Talk Geeky,
the podcast talking passion and business.
get ready to talk geeky.
Here's host Jess Geeks.
I'm hoping you guys really enjoyed that little audio intro. I sure did. Welcome to Talk Geeky. I've been going to San Diego Comic-Con, Anime Expo, a bunch of other conventions throughout Southern California for the past 10 plus years, which, you know, it's nothing compared to like a lot of people I met in this community. In this community, I've also noticed an intersection between business and passion, and that's what this podcast is about. Whether you're a founder, an artist, or just someone passionate about their hobbies, my goal is for this podcast to be for you to meet some interesting people and hopefully learn a thing or two from them, and also to just hear a really geeky conversation. My first guest is Tyler. He is a 3D artist, and we talk about a bunch of different things. I'll just start. So it's time to talk geeky.
Awesome.
What is that?
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good, man.
What's that neon light
What?
in the back? Not. Oh my god. Nice.
So I'm working
that
on I'm working on a piece to go up over my TV area too. That's what that if you saw on my Instagram, that chainsaw sword,
Yeah.
that foam sculpture that I'm working on is going to go right above my TV.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So it's all. Wait, where's that? Is that from anything?
Yeah,
chainsaw
it's from Warhammer 40K.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, man.
Okay,
It's the legendary chainsaw sword from the all of the Space Marines and stuff that they carry. It's like they're the coolest melee weapon you can get in like the games and stuff.
Are you so like Henry Cavill has talked about a movie for Warhammer and stuff? Like, are you excited for that?
Oh my god. Yeah, well, so there's a series that supposedly that they're working on for Amazon.
Oh, was that it? Okay, maybe I.
Yeah, so the series for Amazon, I believe, is called Inquisitor, and it's a very specific segment of lore from the Warhammer universe. So it's going to be like there's a lot of hype around it. I'm really excited. Hopefully they start pumping out some preview stuff here soon. I would hope, but it's really gonna take the content and like make it way more mainstream. I think it's been very underground for a long time.
Yeah, I know that for sure. But like, I know that game like takes a huge commitment because it like monetarily and time. So
yeah. It's man, like I mean, like I started getting into it in the 90s when it kind of was coming. Yeah, that's how long. I mean, it's been around for a really long time.
Yeah.
And I got a collector's box set when I was younger, and I was already into painting like model cars and like model airplanes and stuff like that. So I already had like paints and paintbrushes and stuff because I would do that. And somebody got me the collector's box, one of the first 90s collector's boxes that had Space Marines and orcs in it. And I was just so geeked out by that. It was the coolest thing. And I sat at my little desk and painted these little miniatures, and they were terrible. They were absolutely horribly atrocious. They looked god awful, you know. Things have changed, you know. But yeah, like it was expensive then, and it's expensive now. That's 3D printing has really kind of changed the game, though. It's kind of putting a dent in the armor.
You're printing your own Warhammer figures now. Nice.
Yeah. I mean, lots of people who have desktop manufacturing capabilities nowadays are totally just like saying, screw it, I'll just print my own, man. I'm not going to go out and spend the exorbitant price, especially if you only need like a few things, you know what I mean, to go out and drop that kind of coin. But you have to commit to the world of 3D printing then.
Okay, well, so I realized like we could have just kept going on and on from there, but let's backtrack a little. Also I would like you're my first guest for this podcast.
Oh, awesome. Oh my god,
yeah,
I feel honored.
So I wanted it to be you because I have good energy with you, and also like we've been this business together and stuff, so you know it just works.
Dude, thank you.
To be the first guest.
That's so much. I feel so much love right now.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Definitely. Okay, so for anyone watching, tell them who you are and what do you do.
Oh, okay. Well, I am Tyler
Start there.
Albrektsen. I guess we can. I mean that you can find me through all the normal social media. My name is Garbledy though, so like, I should probably spell that out and put that out for people at some point.
AL
B
B
Rektsen. Super standard.
It'll be in the show notes. I'll get show notes.
I usually just like it's Tyler. There we go. But anyways, yeah, I am a designer. I kind of use that as a general term because there isn't really anything I don't try to get my hands on. I've created a few in like personal intellectual properties. I started a skate company called wax.snax. I'm a San Diego native, born and raised, SoCal boy.
Chula Vista, right?
Huh?
Chula Vista, right?
Yeah, Chula Vista, man. Broadway, Chula Vista. Yep. Grew up on Broadway in Chula Vista. I joined the military. I did the whole army life for almost a solid decade. Now I currently teach a class at Platt College San Diego in the 3D program. In our class, we learn how to 3D model specifically as it applies to prototyping and 3D printing. Because that's kind of like my area of expertise is being a 3D print technician and stuff like that. But as a designer,
whenever I have any questions of 3D printing, I always like straight to you.
Yeah, man,
you know exactly.
I have sat and tinkered with machines and resins and filaments. Like anything you've seen online nowadays. Like I'm one of those guys. I probably just don't post nearly as much content about it as I should. But yeah, I mean, I'm a geek just like you, and I think that's why we're such good buddies and we've known each other for so long, as we have this mutual love for pop culture and fandom. I love going to Comic-Con. I love cosplay. I love anime. I love video games. Overwatch on behind me.
Okay, so that is Overwatch. Good.
Yeah. I saw that season three just launched, and I saw some of the new skins, and I'm like, all right, I got some work to do. But yeah, that's kind of me in a nutshell, man.
Nice. First of all, I want to ask: have you been watching The Last of Us?
Yeah, so I just started it actually. So I saw the first episode. Absolutely amazing. I'm really excited for the next episode. There's definitely some serious emotions in that series, man. Just like the game, though. I'm like so psyched. They really got it. Yeah, it's been fun. What do you think of it?
Every episode continues to emotionally destroy me. So that's how good it is.
That's awesome. I'm looking forward to that, though.
Exactly.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That's how I felt about the newest Black Panther, dude. Like I was like the whole time I was just like like just biting my lip.
Same. So I went to a Thursday night viewing of that. And for some reason I picked like a midnight time slot, thinking I'm still that I could still do it even though I'm now in my late 20s, not early 20s. So I was like fighting staying awake, but also like half crying.
Yeah. That's funny. Oh,
so that was a whole thing. Like
yeah, man.
Slowly
when I was in my 20s, the Twilight series was really, really popular. And yes, I am not ashamed to admit that I went to all the midnight showings of the Twilight movies. And yeah, I got to that same point though where I was half
midnight
awake.
Showings. Wow. Okay.
Commitment, man.
Okay.
Commitment.
Respect.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can't help it. I just really like Taylor Lautner,
Okay, I can see that. All right. So I'm gonna get a little weeby and ask you, what's your favorite anime?
Oh man. Okay, so favorite anime movie of all time is Akira.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm kind of I'm older. I'm in my late 30s. So, I come from that era of anime where, Akira and Ninja Scroll and, gosh, man, just Cowboy Bebop. That first era of Toonami and stuff like that was just, my life. But yeah, Akira to this day that's a film. That's not an anime to me. You know what I mean? Like it transcends the anime genre. It's like just a film. It's up there with Kurosawa.
Yeah, that's one that I would never want to see them try to do a live action of.
Yeah. And I don't ever want to see. I don't want to see it rebooted. I don't want to see a sequel. I don't want to see a prequel. I don't need any other additional content around it. There is the manga that was, the origin story and stuff where,
the manga expands on the movie, right? Like
the manga is a little bit more expansive, and I was like, if you need anything else, it's like go pick up a book and do some reading, but I don't need any like televised or any sort of content like that. Yeah. It's good where it's at.
Okay. So basically I want to ask how you use the term designer to kind of just encapsulate everything you do. So how did you? I'm basically asking, what is your origin story? Like, how did you gain this interest? Yeah,
I was grown in a government lab.
Nice.
I was part of the super soldier program in the military, so
that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, right. So after before I joined the military, as a kid, like I said, I was really into anime. I was into comic books. I was into all my nerd stuff. I loved to draw. As a kid, I loved to paint. I was always more pretty much an artsy kid. And then after the military, when I had the opportunity to go to college, I started asking myself, like, hey, like, what did you like to do before the military? There was what I did when I was in, and then there was like, okay, well, what do you want to do with yourself now? And this is actually a kind of a funny story. When I first got out of the military, I started going to the Cordon Bleu, which is a culinary school in San Francisco.
Oh, that's
so
I knew you went to an art school up there. I knew that.
Yeah, well, I started my journey in culinary school, and I was living in I wasn't living in San Francisco. I was living in the East Bay, and I would have to travel on the BART train from the East Bay into San Francisco to go to class each day when I was going to culinary school. And I would bring a sketchbook with me. And I'd get up real early in the morning. I'd get on the BART train. It was almost like an hour ride into the city. And I would sit there and I would sketch. And sometimes I would leave my sketches on the thing with like my phone number or something on the back to see if I could get somebody, like just trying to do whatever the hell I could, to get out there. And one day I was in a class in culinary school, and I got there a little bit early, and I was sitting down and I was working on a sketch in my sketchbooks. And one of the chefs who I had, he came in and he walked behind me and said, "Hey, you." And I turned around and he said, "Get all your stuff and come with me." And I was like, "Uh-oh, I'm in trouble. I did something wrong," because I know me. I'm a troublemaker. He had me go into the admissions office. He said, "Hey, man, you're at the wrong school." I was like, "What?" He's like, "You need to be going to one of the art schools that's up the street." He's like, "You're a horrible chef."
I like that. Sometimes you need to just hear the plain out truth. You're terrible.
And it was so, you know what, man? I mean, like, he was being totally straight with me. And like, I'm not a great cook. I'll be the first to admit it, but I was just trying whatever the hell I could that felt creative or something like that, or fun, but that very same day, an admissions rep got in contact with one of the design schools in San Francisco, the San Francisco Academy of Art. And they had the admissions rep there talk to me, and then I got a tour of the school that day, and I enrolled at the San Francisco Academy of Art that same day. I transferred schools in one day and was like going to art school within the next week. So wow. That's really where my origin story began, was going to school to study design. I didn't really intend to do that. That's the path I ended up walking. And the first few years of school were all charcoal drawing, and it was all analog stuff. It was all making stuff with your hands, and it was learning the foundations. Yeah.
Nice.
It was really a kind of a blessing all in disguise. I probably would have made a bunch of terrible food for people.
I mean, I've heard you talk about food, and the last time we got pho, the way you talked about it, like I can tell there was some passion there. So that's
Oh yeah.
like I thought, yeah. So the fact that you gave it a shot makes
Yeah,
sense.
well,
It makes sense.
I totally see, the culinary arts. There's
Mhm.
that word, the arts, right behind it, and it's an art form. You can take, I mean, anything nowadays you can take, I think, to the ultimate level and call it an art form. But
Mhm.
with the culinary arts, it's such a beautiful visual art. I mean, there's literally like plating and fine dining. It's like it looks like you're about to eat a piece of artwork. So yeah, I've always had an incredible respect for the culinary arts.
Yeah. So out of because you majored in 3D. So
Yeah,
out of
well, yeah. So I mean, I did obviously graphic design,
Mhm.
like yourself, and then I majored in 3D modeling primarily, 3D modeling
Yeah.
generalist. Yeah.
And you're still and now you teach it. So like going from a student to now being a teacher, like what are you seeing that switch to be like how's that impacted you? Like seeing students work and
Um,
stuff.
it's been a wild ride, that's for sure, and it's definitely been a humbling experience because I think as a student you don't really truly know what the teachers have to work with. They have limited resources, and you have to make the best with what we can. And I don't think you fully get to appreciate that obviously until you really truly step into those shoes. You know, so it's been kind of humbling, but it's also been really educational even for myself. I feel like I'm learning even more as a teacher than I did as a student because
Mhm.
you start running into things you have to troubleshoot that you never had to do as a student that now you get to as a teacher. And you go like, oh, cool! Like actually, I didn't know that, and you get to do a little bit of research. It's actually pretty fun. I've really enjoyed working with students and showing them what I know, and seeing them get to apply that knowledge to their own creative process too. It's really rewarding.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. So when was it? 2019? 2018? I want to say 2019. It was 2019. Me and you were part of a collective business together. So
Yeah, yeah.
uh do you want to talk about your experience with what was Meltdown? And
Yeah,
how
well,
much you
yeah,
learned and stuff?
Meltdown. I so it's funny. I like to call Meltdown the album that never got released.
I like that. I'm gonna use that. I
Yeah,
love that.
that's a good one. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's how I really truly like to equate it.
Mhm.
It was a group of artists that were coming together to work on an album, and we made an EP or something like that, and we just
Mhm.
never really got to release it. It's like we dropped it on Spotify, but it never really went anywhere. you know. But Meltdown was a attempt to kind of bring together a digital design community in order to kind of just all help each other supplement the skills that we didn't necessarily have independently just yet. So it was just our way of kind of like trying to come together and create personal content that we really liked while simultaneously inspiring other people to say like, hey, that's really cool, I would like to see you do more of this. We tried to tackle a little bit of everything. We kind of stretched ourselves a little thin, in my opinion, in the end there. That was one of the
We
hardest parts.
at the end there we were kind of doing everything. Like we were trying
Yeah.
to that
And
that was
I think that
interesting
was
too.
the thing, was that when you have so many different people with so many different things, it's like
Mhm.
trying to do a lot of different things to see what sticks and to see what people respond to. We live in an age where it's just like content saturation, and it's just being pumped out constantly. So I mean, whether we want to admit it or not, you're in a competition all the time. Even
Mhm.
even right now. Hey, you know, that's fucking meta. But we were doing a lot of different things trying to see what people would respond to, and the reality is that financially that's really really hard to maintain. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
I know you like you on that end were very much heavily involved, and I know that was tough. So like from experiencing that and from what we were doing, like what would you have done differently?
Focused on maybe just I think just focused on creating the content more than anything instead of necessarily the business aspect of it, because I wanted to do everything by the book as much as possible, and hence why I really went through the process of establishing a real LLC, doing the whole getting an accountant, really trying to kind of set everything up right from the get-go so that it was legitimate, at least from an outside perspective looking in.
Yeah.
But we didn't. That was the thing, though, is like I was trying to do the business portion before we truly ever had established the successful content. So focusing on the content and making sure we had something that people responded to and really, really liked first that we could keep rolling with probably would be what I did differently.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like that. Huh. So in like 20 years or something, do you want to try again?
Yeah, definitely. I'm yeah, absolutely. Like I said, I feel like I just put the album and this thing on the shelf. I don't think it's dead by any means. You know what I mean? Like I think.
Yeah, I mean, you're
think,
still going with like you said, wax.snax. I can't pronounce the last word for some reason. And that was
like
you
candy.
you
like,
developed
dude,
that.
Like we all eat snacks. Why is everybody struggling with
Snacks.
this?
I have no idea.
It's because of it's okay.
X,
Okay, you know what it is?
X.
I know exactly what it is. It's because of the alliteration, and I did that on purpose. When you have two X's in a word like that, wax, snacks, it rolls off the tongue funky. And I did that on purpose.
Wait, hold on a second. I just got the fucking name, and I don't know why I didn't get it before, because they smell like Fruity Pebbles and shit like that, and it's oh my god, it's so stupid. There you go, logo. But
there we go.
That developed like when you were doing Meltdown, and like so like I mean now I see your posts all the time. Like I saw one where you were looking for somebody to be a vendor for or something at some local up in LA or something. So but anyway, so like how's that going for you?
Really well, man. And that's I feel like I kind of went back to the drawing board, and exactly what I was talking about wanting to do with Meltdown is kind of what I've started to do a little bit with wax.snax. And it's like, it's great because like I do want Meltdown, and I do want to see that come back around. And I feel like what I can do now is prepare for that by doing, learning and doing things correctly this time, so that when I get back to Meltdown, it won't fall apart.
Gotcha.
Wax.snax has been awesome. So I just recently finished my this season's batch of wax. So as you can see,
what do we got here? Wait, actually, can you just hold on a sec?
Yeah.
This is why I don't do a live. I can edit that out later.
Hey, that's okay, man. Yeah, anything you got, we can anything you want to cut. I get it.
Yeah. Anyways, you were showing the wax.
Yeah. So this is okay. My bad. I'm like trying to get it all in frame. There we go.
Nice.
Yeah. So this is my flagship product for my company, wax.snax. Yeah, so I'll show you so everybody, as you can see. There we go.
Perfect.
So as a aggressive inline skater and being part of the inline skating community, I wanted to use my design talents, for good somehow to kind of give back to a community that I really, truly love and really, truly care about. It's been really, really good to me. The aggressive rollerblading community kind of welcomed me in with open arms and stuff like that. I started doing sports as a really young kid, and rollerblading was something that was really fun for me as a kid. And in the 90s, when skateboarding got really popular, and I know this is a cliche story, any rollerblader or any skateboarder will kind of tell you about the feud that existed in the 90s between skateboarders and rollerbladers. I was part of that culture where I was a rollerblader and I would try to go out and rollerblade with the skateboarders, and I would be ridiculed mercilessly for being a rollerblader.
There was a term, right? I forget what they're called, you guys.
So they would call us fruit booter. That was
a
a very common one, but we have taken that name back, and we like it, and we love being called it. So I'm all about it. I am a fruit booter. I'm proud to say it. You know, it realistically, it's an extreme sport, and at its highest level, it's incredibly fast paced. It's incredibly dangerous. It's extremely exciting, and it's just as intense as skateboarding, BMX riding, scooter riding, anything that anybody pushes to the limit.
I don't doubt that at all, considering I saw you right after your last injury, and that was like you were lucky on that one. You didn't need to.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I've taken some falls. I've gotten, like, my meniscus is not great anymore. You know, I've gotten seriously injured a few times, but nothing that was, you know, like life threatening or anything. You know, I'm a little bit older now, so I got to learn to take it a little slower. You know,
yeah. I mean, you're still out there, and that's
yeah, I'm still out there, and I'm having fun. That's the most important part, is that you're out there having fun, and you know, there's still ways to learn new stuff without killing yourself. You know, that's for sure. And then, like, the other part of it is that I get to see other people out there. I get to see new people coming into the sport. There's people out there doing crazy tricks that nobody would have even thought of 10 or 15 years ago. So you can literally visually watch the evolution of the sport happening. It's absolutely wonderful. I love it.
Yeah. You remember that day where we went to the skate park and just gave out merch and, like, was shooting people? Like, I love that day. It was just seeing all that and recording everybody.
Man.
Yeah.
You were killing it too, man. You got in the, like, Jesse was all about that life. He got down in the bowl and he was like, I don't care, I'll sacrifice the body. He's like, where do you want me? It's like ready to go. He's like, yeah, camera in hand. Oh, it was awesome. Yeah, dude, I can tell you were feeling the energy that day too. That's what it's, like, all about. Yeah. Like,
so, like, the photography, when doing photography and video, like, the two that I've always wanted to do is like extreme sports and concert photography, which I've kind of gotten some tips on concert photography, but I just kind of need to reach out to certain people. It's a little bit like you know, the whole, you got to start working for free stuff in those areas first and stuff like that.
I feel like that's most things nowadays.
Yeah, that's a lot of things. Yeah, that's a lot of things nowadays. But I mean, if the experience is worth it,
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So
yeah, you're right. That too. That is, I'd say that's accurate. Same, honestly, like, same with the skate community too. You know, I look back on my early design career, and when I was living in San Francisco, I was skating to school every now and then. Once I finally moved into the city and I was going to art school, I realized I needed to be on campus a whole lot more. I was like having an hour commute in and out and not having access to the resources that I needed in the city was really, really killing me. So I ended up moving into the city, and I was skating to class and stuff like that on a skateboard and stuff like that. And I was just cruising and stuff like that. And like most designers and people who are also sports enthusiasts or skateboard enthusiasts, I was like, oh, I've got a brilliant idea. I'm going to design skateboard decks, and I'm going to do my art on skateboard decks. And then I'm going to go to the skate shops and I'm going to see if they'll carry my decks. And I was like really ambitious and really excited about that. And like, I was going to the skate shop in San Francisco where a lot of professional skaters come and stuff like that. And they're like, hey man, it's like, we're sponsored. We skate our brands. We skate our decks. This is our stuff. It's like, you know, it's like if you get out there in the skate park and you put in the work and you're actually part of the community, then as you start to develop a brand that's associated with it, it's a little bit more receptive instead of, we're like, we don't know you. Why would we skate on your stuff? And I felt like a little wounded by the rejection as a designer,
because you know you, but like obviously they're gonna be like, who the fuck is this kid? Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. And honestly, rightfully so. I think that's exactly how it should be. You know, skating first, everything else second, in kind of a way. No, you know. So you know, like I kind of was like, okay. And I've met a lot of people that are like, oh man, it's so hard to break into the skate industry. I'm like, well, are you out there skating? Are you out there living it? because if you're out there living it, it's actually not that. It's actually really not so bad, you know. And that's the thing is like with aggressive rollerblading, when the pandemic hit, I dusted off my old skates and started getting back out there and rollerblading
Dude,
again.
when the pandemic hit, like I like that you. I'm glad you brought that up because I noticed like there was a big surge of people buying skates.
Yes,
like,
because yeah, there was so like if you look at it like I'm a person who really likes data. You know, so I like to look at numbers and see and see statistical rises and things. And there was a massive jump in the profits in recreational sports like that and individual sports equipment because people were going outside during that time. Like gyms were closed, but people still wanted to go out and exercise. So we were like, well, I'm going to go to the park. I'm going to go, you know, and if being from Southern California and living in Southern California, like, well, man, I'm going to go to the beach or I'm going to go skate. I would go skate by Silver Strand Beach in Coronado, and I would do 20 miles a day, you know, on skates, man. You know, yeah. So it was really interesting to see the pandemic. Obviously, you know, not a great thing, but it has completely, I mean, for better or worse, reshaped a lot of different industries. You know, so it's the skating community. I think got a little bit of needed love as a result.
That's great. So, Rapid Rabbit.
Yeah.
What is this? Am I pronouncing it right? Rapid Rabbit.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. You like that I keep doing this alliteration.
Yes, alliteration. Yeah.
Yeah. I do that on purpose.
Nice.
I do that on purpose.
So it's like one of those things that get in your brain, like a song or something. You know. I get that.
Yep. It's wordplay. It messes with your head. I like it. But yeah, Rapid Rabbit. So that's a side project. That's I don't know how to say side project because it's not a project. You know, I purchased a whole bunch of 3D printers, as you know. I've got a ridiculous amount of them now that are just kind of all taking up space. And I'm like, oh my God, I don't know what to do with all these things.
Start over. Rapid Rabbit.
Yeah, Rapid Rabbit. That is kind of a side project / a business venture that myself and my former student turned teaching assistant, Thomas Gonzalez, who's another graduate from Platt College, San Diego.
Shout out to Platt.
Shout out to Platt, baby. Oh God, love that place. Yeah. Literally just teeming with talent. So he and I, you know, we have a bunch of 3D printers. And part of our class that we teach 3D modeling for is the opportunity for students to get to learn how to operate and learn a little bit about the actual hardware side with the 3D printers. So Rapid Rabbit is kind of like our 3D print group / company where we make, you know, whatever anybody needs. We can 3D model anything and we 3D print anything. Thomas and I, Thomas is my print technician. I'm kind of the lead. I do the 3D modeling. Thomas does some 3D modeling as well, but then we also operate the machines together, work on the equipment, do research and stuff like that, and kind of do experiments together too. You know, we literally, it's a print laboratory. So I guess that's maybe the best way to describe it. Rapid Rabbit 3D print laboratory. Yeah, we literally are doing experiments, man. I mean, we're mixing resins,
like new ways to. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So what successes have you had with like your experiments and stuff? Like,
well, so like, I mean, we did a couple tests where we wanted to mix a couple different resins that have different impact resistance properties, and it was just so that we could see if we could create a new color and make a stronger plastic polymer by mixing the two. So we mixed two of them and tried to print something, and it came out much stronger than if we had printed them individually in either of the substances, which was kind of cool.
Nice.
So yeah, it's almost like it's the plastic equivalent of working with metal alloys or something like that, where somebody might be mixing different metals that, you know, you mix titanium with steel is stronger than titanium by itself or steel by itself.
Cool.
Then, so kind of the same.
So for people that don't know, and because my memory isn't great, can you explain the differences between like resin printing and the other kinds of printing?
Yeah,
Or
I mean, there's lots of different types of 3D printing out there. 3D printing is truly just additive manufacturing. That's the fancy name for 3D printing. And it's been around for a really long time. It's nothing necessarily new. It's just more accessible now with desktop 3D printers and stuff. So more people are able to kind of see this process up close, which was something that was kind of, guarded and gate kept for a little while in mainstream manufacturing. So, 3D printing, though, the most common methods are FDM, which is where we see a spool of plastic filament that's just kind of, a wheel of plastic that sits there and it just feeds it in and prints
and that's
it.
what you mainly see in like, like people on TikTok or like live streams like doing, right? Like
Yeah,
the most
exactly.
popular.
And the prints that you see coming off of those particular types of 3D printers are kind of recognizable. Those are the ones that typically tend to have some lines still in the 3D print, so it still looks a little raw. Usually requires a lot of exterior sanding or something like that to make it look smooth if you really want to make it look smooth. But fresh off of the printer, it typically has some of those print lines still in it. Versus the resin 3D printing, or SLA, as it is more commonly known. Resin 3D printing has been used for a while, especially in dental manufacturing, like for people who get new teeth printed, like implants and things like that.
Okay, so sorry, a joke in Arrested Development just kind of makes more sense to me. If you know what I'm talking about.
I think I might.
Okay.
I've seen a lot of Arrested Development. It's just been a while.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway,
Cool.
what was I saying? Yeah. So SLA printing, though, like the resin 3D printing, those typically tend to, when you pull a print off of that, it tends to not have any of those lines because it's using resin. The resin is able to get squished down to a much finer resolution than the filament can be. So you usually typically don't have nearly as bad of a print lines or something. There still might be a little bit, and you still might need a little bit of sanding to truly get it looking smooth. But it's a significant improvement off of the FDM printing. The only problem is that it's messy. It's far more expensive. You get a lot more print failures with resin printing than you do with the FDM and the filament-based printing and stuff. So, there's definitely a trade-off between the two for sure. And then there's tons of other variations of 3D printing out there that people are starting to kind of get into, metal 3D printing and all sorts of stuff like that.
Nice. So you posted you were working now for a prop studio.
Yeah.
So did the 3D from going from like 3D printing and stuff like that work into that? Like was
Yes,
that the
absolutely.
avenue? That was the avenue to getting there, right? And plus you've like worked on cosplay stuff, and like for the whole time I've known you, you've worked on you built your own things.
Yeah.
So that was the avenue to working for a prop studio, or how did that happen?
It's all really weird because it all, like, the dots all just kind of connected all of a sudden. You know what I mean? It was kind of everything lined up, all the stars finally were in line. And I sent out like over 100+ applications to other places and heard nothing back. So believe me, there was definitely
it wasn't easy. It was okay. It didn't just happen because you happened to. Nice.
Yeah, there was definitely some persistence in there, of course, but like, the prop studio. So I'm living in Las Vegas, as you know now. And Las Vegas has an amazing performing arts community, a lot of stage shows. If you go into any of the casinos or hotels around Las Vegas, there's all these beautiful art installations and exhibits and all this big props and all this big stuff that's really attention grabby, and it's why people come to Las Vegas. You know what I mean? So there is a market for the world of props and things like that here. You would assume, you're like, well, LA, Los Angeles, Hollywood, that all makes sense. Prop studios, film, that makes sense. But yeah, here in Las Vegas, there's quite a demand for props too, and I'm blessed to get to work now under a prop master for his prop studio. His name is Ryan Jay. So if you look up Ryan J Art, he's a prop master. He's been working in the industry for over 20 years, and he's got his own studio now that he's running here in Las Vegas, and that's where I'm getting to work, is with him, and study, kind of like as an apprentice, get to study under him and learn all of the knowledge he has, and how I can then apply that to my own creative journey.
Nice.
Yeah.
I know, like, since they're like probably big projects and stuff. Any projects you can talk about, or?
Currently, I mean, like, we're working, like, there's some sculptures for the Las Vegas Golden Knights.
Oh,
that's the NHL team that's out
okay.
here.
I was about to ask, is that a sports thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's
Nice.
that's what I'm discovering, even in the world of studio art too. When you work at the studio level, studios take work from anywhere and everywhere. You know what I mean? So you might make, you get contracted to work on something, and sometimes a studio may only be contracted to work on a specific piece to a large prop that is then going to go off somewhere. Specifically, one of the ones that Ryan, my prop master, had worked on, Machine Gun Kelly's helicopter from his show, where he flies out and he's hanging underneath this big pink helicopter that's flying over the audience. So he got to work on a big portion of the helicopter fuselage, but they didn't work on the entire thing. Another studio was contracted to work on another portion of the prop.
I see.
So that's a lot of times what I'm discovering. And at the larger scale, you might end up working on pieces and things like that to a much larger installation or a much larger project. And it's one bigger company subcontracts out to a bunch of the smaller companies.
So then, that industry, then, building relationship with all these other studios and companies that hire out, like, that's just like a really big part of that then, right?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of networking, a lot of cross communication things. Obviously, like in most industries, there's still miscommunications and things have to get fixed. And there's bumps and learning curves, of course. But yeah, it's really, really interesting. A lot of the work that the studio that I've seen of Ryan's has been at Disneyland, has been inside, the Bellagio, inside of like Caesar's Palace, at, all these amazing places. And then some stuff is at restaurants, and some stuff is for people who are contracted out, that are doing personal film projects, and they need some props being, made for their personal stuff. It's really amazing. There's stuff being made all the time. I really like it.
Nice. That just sounds like so much like the perfect job for you, honestly. Like,
you're not the first person that said that.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, about to be right.
Yeah. Right. That's what I was like. All right. Well, it must be true.
Yeah. I mean, you like what was I'm trying to remember your cosplays I've seen throughout the years that you made yourself.
Oh,
like,
boy.
You still have that mannequin with the
yeah.
yeah.
Manny the mannequin. Yeah.
Oh my god. You an alliterationist, right? Who was it? It was Deathstroke. There we go. I was like, it was Red Hood. I was like, for some reason I had Red Hood in my head, but no, it was you did a Deathstroke one.
Yeah, the Deathstroke. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was one of my favorite ones. I still have that one, of course. I have all my costumes. I've kept them all for sure. Yeah. Whether I fit into all of them, that's a different story.
Well, I don't know. I've seen you been in the gym.
Yeah. But that's the thing. Yeah, Deathstroke. My Deathstroke costume is definitely one of my favorite costumes that I have. I'm currently still working on the Shredder armor. That's
okay.
burn.
I was like, there was something you were working on last. I couldn't remember. Okay, so that was just taking a while.
Project.
Nice. Okay. So sorry, I can just hear my cats. That's fine. So your Shredder costume. So that's words. Your most since that's your most recent, like what percentage of that are you like done with? And stuff? Like,
Oh my god, I wish you wouldn't have asked me that.
all right, 30. I'm gonna just
I
I'm
feel
just
so
saying.
embarrassed. I'm not as far as I should be on it. That's the
Okay.
problem. That's yeah.
I mean, you're
yeah,
busy.
you
You're
know,
doing a lot. Like, and you go back and forth between Vegas and San Diego all the time.
yeah,
So
and then like between just, I mean, you know how like cosplay costumes are. You're part of the cosplay community, and you know how long people work on their costumes for and stuff
yeah,
like that. It's an endeavor. It really truly is. It's commitment, like anything. And this is by far the most intense costume build I think I've ever embarked on. I'm lucky to have Thomas, my print tech and stuff like that, working with me on it, which is nice. And I've actually got the armor and going to be working on it in the prop studio with the prop master. He wanted to see it, so I'm gonna kind of be putting the finishings on it. My goal is to have it ready for Comic-Con this year. I don't know if it will be. I personally can't wear it. It's too big for me. It'll probably be worn by my print technician or perhaps a model that we bring on, or someone like that, because it needs to be somebody that's kind of big, and I'm not tall enough for it.
oh, I see. Dude, hit me up for that. I want to take photos of that so badly.
Yeah, man, it's gonna be a good one. I'm definitely.
Especially if we go back to that alley. Do you remember we did the photo shoot
Oh
with
yeah,
you?
yeah.
Yeah, your Casey Jones.
Well, so that was my goal. That was my thing. Was like I would rock the. I'm thinking that I'll rock the Casey Jones, and I'll have a model, or I'll have somebody, or get somebody to get the shredder, and then my partner Emily, as you know, she's got a really good April O'Neil cosplay. So it's gonna be April O'Neil, Casey Jones, Shredder, and stuff. I think that'd be a really good ensemble.
Dude, that would be so cool.
Yeah, especially in that alleyway again with that backdrop. And it's cool. I like the idea of us going back to our old spot and doing an updated version. That's fun.
Yeah, that'd be good. And then also, since we'll have more characters and like your new prints and stuff, and like I could also love to do besides just photos, videos there. Like that's where the content's just going. So like I've been going more headstrong into that. Yeah.
Good stuff. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So like, let's see, how long are we going? I'm going for like 50 minutes, 48. Oh, nice. It's like, I want to ask, so like now having had a business that wasn't successful and now have like currently running two, while also you're doing a lot now that I'm listing it. Holy shit. Okay, well, for up and coming artists and people that are trying to find like follow their passions, but still make a living and stuff like that, like any advice that you would give, like, at all?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. It's interesting you asked that, because I really kind of I had been thinking about that myself over the course of the last week, and so it's sometimes it's you have to kind of piece together a lot of different things to kind of reach the trajectory that you're looking for as a creative. Being involved in a lot of little things, it all kind of accumulates maybe into something much bigger. So to the outside, to someone outside looking in at what I do, they're like, "Damn, yeah, like you just said, it's like, wow, he's doing like a lot of things." They're all connected though. You know what I mean? Like everything I do is kind of connected in a way. And I've structured it that way. And I think that that's kind of one way that you can choose to follow your passion, and also still be able to make the kind of living for yourself that is reasonable, and is sustainable. Because I think that's really true. That's my goal. And I think that's the goal for a lot of people out there. Is it's don't get me wrong. I know, social media and stuff has us all wanting mansions and supercars and stuff like that. But realistically, it's like you want to just do what you love and be able to also still go on vacation with your loved ones, like little things like that. Just live life, but still do what makes you truly happy. working on creative content, and especially like, you know, like digital art and stuff like that, for me is what truly brings me happiness and joy. And being an athlete is, you know, something that brings me a lot of happiness. So finding a way to make my worlds all connect together, kind of that kind of has benefited me in a way. And it's also given me the steam needed to kind of keep pushing forward and find the next level for myself. And now it's kind of, again, it's come to this point now where I'm getting to work with a prop master and potentially work on, you know, stuff for major Hollywood studios and stuff like that. So it's not necessarily like there's not one right way to do everything. You just got to find your way, you know. And you know, I think the biggest thing that we're all starting to learn as a species on this planet is kind of like that. It's like, hey, let everybody kind of do things their way, and as long as they're not damaging other people in the process, then it doesn't matter, you know. It really is, it's just however you like to live your life and however you get to have fun with your journey, you know. I'm having a ton of fun. I get to skate, I get to make stuff for our community, I get to hang around some really great talented people. I know wonderful people like you. I get to do stuff like this, you know what I mean? And I truly feel honored to be a human on this planet. It's really fun.
I love that. All right, so now it was like, not, these aren't big questions, these are silly questions. What's your favorite anime character?
Favorite anime character?
Yeah.
Ooh, dang, that's a good one, man. Favorite anime character? Vash the Stampede.
All right, you stumped me. Wait, what is that?
Vash from Trigun.
Oh my god, yeah, I'm not. I haven't watched Trigun.
Man.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about that character makes that your favorite character?
Well, his look. He had just one of the sickest like looks. Like he kind of had this Devil May Cry kind of like look kind of going on. I really liked his red jacket and stuff. And then he was just.
Oh, wait a minute. Never mind. I just realized.
Ultimate.
So I just figured out who you're talking about. Yeah. Nice. Okay.
Yeah, man. Yeah. He was just always like, he never panicked. He was always cool and collected when shit hit the fan. And you also knew that he was going to come out clean the other side because he was him. So
okay. So that answers the next question that I was going to ask, which was like, what do you values from that character that you admired? But yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
How about your favorite Star Wars character?
Okay. I'm gonna get deep lore on some people here.
Okay.
Here we go. So
let's go.
Favorite Star Wars character, and and I know some fanboy out there is gonna refute this and hate this. It is a character that they created for The Force Unleashed. It was some extended content. It was at the very, very end.
Okay.
It was the combination of Starkiller's DNA and Darth Maul's DNA. Darth Vader saved the two DNAs and combined them on the cloning planet Kamino and created Maul Killer. And he had like Dathomirian Sith tattoos like Darth Maul, but they were black and white. And he had a mohawk made out of like metal spikes. And he carried Starkiller's two white lightsabers and was absolutely insane.
That is, so mine is Starkiller, honestly, because I played that on the PSP.
Yeah.
And like that was like my favorite Star Wars game. But so like, but you got deep in there, like you went further than that. Like that's some very niche character. I love that.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, that's. I love Starkiller too, because Starkiller becomes Gavin Malik eventually too, which is fucking awesome. And that's he was a badass also. But
so the new movies, when there was the Starkiller base.
Yeah,
like that's what it's called. That I literally was freaking out because I was like, "Yo, is he gonna be in this?" Yeah. But
I need them to start tapping into the Old Republic content. I'm kind of, you know what I mean? Like that needs to be canonized, and it needs to have its day on screen. When they decide that they're gonna start dropping movies about Revan and and Darth Nihilus and like Knights of the Old Republic content, yeah, dude, I'm gonna line up at midnight for that one.
What would be your dream Star Wars movie to work on, as in like a prop or something, you know?
Ooh, okay. Oh, that's a good one, and I have an answer for that. That's funny. um, Lost Tribe of the Sith.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's a book called Lost Tribe of the Sith. If you ever get the chance to read it, it's freaking amazing.
Oh,
But
I think I've heard of this. This is how the Sith kind of started, right? Like,
partially,
is that
yeah,
what?
it was
Yeah.
a group of Sith that came from Korriban, and their ship crash landed on an alien planet that hadn't ever experienced anybody with force powers, and they revered this group of Sith as like gods. And this group of Sith ended up living on this planet for a very long time, ruling over this alien species. It was really, really wild. It's really dark, which is what I like about it. It's definitely some darker content from the Star Wars universe. But yeah, man, if they ever made that into some sort of live action thing, and like I got the chance to work on that, I think I'd have a heart attack.
Nice.
Yeah.
Love that. Well, I mean, I kind of gone as far as I pretty much asked everything I wanted to.
Are you playing any good video games right now? What about you? There you go.
Okay. So I started Gotham Knights.
Mm.
That one is really good. I really like
Do you
using
like that?
Yeah, I like playing as Batgirl.
Okay.
All her moves and stuff. I like the way the combos work in the
Yeah.
game. It's interesting, and also it kind of reminds me. Another one I'm playing is the new God of War. So it kind of reminds little parts of that remind me of how the gameplay in God of War is, which
Yeah.
I mean kind of makes sense because the third person
Yeah.
whole thing. But yeah, those two. I'm playing those two and a lot of Fortnite.
Nice. Are you
Yeah.
looking forward to anything else coming out?
The new Star Wars game.
What's that one?
I'm
The one-
blanking on the name.
It's a sequel, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a sequel.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm drawing a blank on it too. I know exactly which one you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I would love to see from those games going to live action, because the guy who plays see, I don't see if I butcher his name, I'm gonna get so much shit, and like I'm blanking on even the title, so I'm gonna Google that.
There you go. Take a minute. Yeah, I'm with you on that one.
And I'm gonna get shit. I know I'm gonna get shit for Googling this.
Hey man, gotta do what you gotta do.
It is Cal. Cal. I'm gonna put the name. I'm just saying Cal. I would love to see Cal in live action, because I know the actor who plays him does the whole mocap for him, and like his face is the character.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That does. It look visually like all the games you just recently mentioned all visually look freaking fantastic. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and like
Gotham Knights looks beautiful.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, God of War won I don't know how many awards, the Game Awards. So yeah.
I'm really looking forward to Diablo 4.
Oh yeah, that got me excited.
I think that comes out in June. I think
they finally learned to count 4. Yeah.
Oh, it looks so good. Anyway.
Yeah. Also, do you think it's funny that Pedro Pascal is basically cast in the same role again with The Last of Us?
I think he is getting a little typecast, honestly.
He's guiding this like savior child through post Republic or whatever, like falling, like yeah.
It's like, where have I seen this story?
Exactly. He was great on. So he was on SNL recently.
Oh
he was
yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
He did awesome.
The Mario brothers.
The Mario was great. I
so
honestly want to watch that instead.
Hey, you know what's really crazy? So like we're just talking and shooting shit, man.
Yeah,
like,
now we're just shooting shit.
I was reading headlines and stuff like that, and like there has been a massive spike in fungal infections specifically. Mm-hmm. There really has been, and it's kind of like My heart. I read that headline and like I swear my heart started beating a little
No,
faster.
no. So like even when it became like finding out about because I found out about that a while ago. That specific fungus that like takes over an ant's brain, like that was real. I found out about that a long time ago, and I was like,
Yeah, I heard about that a long
yo,
time ago.
why isn't this a concern? Like for people, like
concern. Why are people not talking about this?
yeah, like but yeah, I love The Last of Us. They really did a great job translating it
Yeah.
To live action and like just like differentiate like they didn't it's not a normal zombie show like
No, not at all.
no it does like and I mean like let's not even use the word zombie
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Like it transcends. That's it's like I think you and I have even had the conversation before where we're like, what would you do in a zombie apocalypse? Like everybody,
right, yeah,
everybody has that conversation and stuff, and I'm like, I'm always
everybody's like Costco. Like everybody goes to Costco. I don't know why.
Everybody goes to Costco.
That's what everybody says. Costco.
That's probably one of the best. That's definitely a good plan for sure. I think and see, like I always say the same thing though. I'm like, well, it depends on the kind of zombie apocalypse.
Yeah, it does. Yeah,
it's so zombie apocalypse dependent. I'm like, are you talking like Walking Dead? Yeah, Costco, motherfucker, and fortify that thing. I was like, if it's Resident Evil style, there's no getting away from that. You're effed. You're just.
No.
You know what I mean? Like there's that's the end of the whole world. 28 days later, dude, I'm gonna get on a sailboat and I'm gonna go into the middle of the ocean. I'm gonna hang out for a month and I'm gonna come back and wait until everybody's starved off and I'm gonna start over again. Like
yo, did you hear? I remember hearing a year ago there was supposed to be another one of those, like, because there was I think it was gonna be like 28 hours or something like that. It was going to be
28 hours of it's okay, yeah, because they had 28 weeks, 28 days, so they would do 28 hours. That'd be cool. I'd be down for that.
Yeah, I don't know if that's actually going to be a thing, but like I remember hearing about that though, so I thought that was sounded really cool because I always just seeing like the very first beginning of an outbreak like that.
It's sheer. It's just like the very beginning of The Last of Us. Like when you watch that, like that, it's like that was really, 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 really accurate looking.
Yeah, especially since he was in Texas.
Yeah, I mean, like the anxiety that I was experiencing watching that, I was like, oh my god.
Because also you knew what was coming from the game, so like you were like, oh man.
Oh god. Oh, this is gonna get so bad. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember with what was it? The Walking Dead spinoff, Fear the Walking Dead.
Yeah, I didn't get into Fear the Walking Dead as much.
So I watched the first few episodes just to see, and like now, and I gave up on watching The Walking Dead, but a while ago. It wasn't because of like everybody else with Glenn. It was a little before that because I just kind of fell off of it. But I was, interestingly enough, I was at the panel for the Comic-Con for the last season.
Yeah.
I just happened to be in there, and it kind of got me hyped about it. Then I kind of want to go and watch it from the beginning again. But if we were Walking Dead, I don't know if you saw or if any like memes about the first episode when it first came out, but it just showed took place in LA, so it showed like the freeways crowded, and the memes were like, "That's not scary. Why are you trying to make that scary? If you want to make it scary, show the 405 empty." Like that's what people were going. And I'm just like, yeah,
what the hell is going on? Yeah, absolutely. It's like, so that's just another day at work. What are you talking about?
Yeah. So it did. My cats want something. So I'm just like seeing those portrayals of like the very beginning of a zombie apocalypse, like The Last of Us and Fear the Walking Dead. Very much so. They want something. So we'll wrap this up soon. Sorry. But like I like how more accurate The Last of Us one was.
Yeah, it felt way more accurate. Yeah, for sure.
Anyways, thanks for being on. Next time you're in town, getting you some fall. like we're going to get fun, and maybe even go. Maybe I might even follow you to a state park and get some video or something. Yeah.
Dude, you are welcome in my life anytime. I'm so glad I got to do this with you, and I'm glad you're carrying the torch forward, man. You've got a great finger on the pulse of all things pop culture and geek. I love it, man. I love chatting with you.
Yeah, you too.
All right, man.
All right, man. Have a good one.